Thank you very much, everyone. It's great to be back here in Winnipeg. As a prairie boy, I always feel kindred spirits, and contrary to some popular opinion in some places, you can't see Winnipeg from Calgary, even though it's very flat between the two cities. But both Winnipeggers and Calgarians feel at home when they're in each other's cities. So I'm especially happy to be here today at Fast Air, where Dylan Fast and his incredible workers are doing Certified Transport Canada approved maintenance, repair, overhaul on the Gulfstream, Hawker, Challenger, King Air, West Wind, Piper, Cessna, Bell 206 series helicopters, and much more. These are extremely qualified workers with real brain power, exactly the type of people we need to rebuild our country after the lost Liberal decade. You know, we have some incredible people who are with us today, including, I should also point out Marty Morance's incredible work fighting against anti-Semitism. I wanted to say that he's been a leading champion fighting anti-Semitism on the floor of the House of Commons. We have Raquel Dancho, who's been fighting crime, pushing to put criminals in jail and keep the streets of Winnipeg and Canada safe. Thank you very much, Raquel. Brandon Leslie was elected in a recent by-election with a huge mandate from his people. Ted Falk, a very important member of a lot of different committees. I worked with him on finance. He's a businessman, a patriot, a great Canadian. Dan Mazur, one of the greatest experts on environment. We have James Bazan, our Shadow Minister of Defense, who's helping rebuild our military. And we have, I'm not going to go through all the candidates not yet elected, because they're going to be doing incredible things for all of us as well. And I can't wait to work with each and every one of them with a solid Manitoba contingent, because we need each and every one of them to fight for Canada first, for a change. It's been a hard decade for Canadians. Wages are down, costs are up, crime is everywhere, and our economy is weak and under the American thumb after the lost Liberal decade. And now they think they deserve a fourth term in power. You know, imagine, today you spend more on taxes than on food, clothing, and shelter combined. You know, we as Conservatives want to unleash the strength of our mighty workers, unleash our economy, and put our country first for a change by delivering tax fairness for everyone. Let me describe the problem we have right now. We have a lot of traveling trades workers. They might live in Timmins and go and work in Fort Mac. They might be from Winnipeg but go to the East Coast offshore. They might live in Quebec and head out to Kitimat, Northwest British Columbia, to help with the LNG Canada project that the previous Conservative government approved. But they can only write off a total of $4,000 a year in costs for their travel. Some of them spend tens of thousands of dollars traveling across the country, but they can't claim it. We have a very simple principle in our income tax system. You get to write off the costs you incur to earn the income that's being taxed. Very simple. But they can't do that. On the other extreme, CEOs, globalist bankers, and other jet setters not only have the ability to write off the full cost of transportation required, they can write off luxurious private jets that they don't need to earn income. Yes, of course, business people have to travel to market their products, to establish relationships, to check on their supply chains, of course. But you can do that by commercial. A luxurious jet is a personal indulgence that should not be subsidized by the tax system, especially when our workers are being shortchanged. And so today, I'm announcing, in the spirit of putting Canada first and backing boots, not suits, our Conservative government will pass the Tax Fairness for Traveling Trades Workers Act, which will allow trades workers to write off the full cost of their food, transportation, and accommodation to go anywhere in Canada doing their jobs. There will no longer be a $4,000 cap. They will not have to stay overnight in order to be eligible for the write-off, and they will only have to travel 120 kilometers for the write-off to be eligible rather than the current 150 kilometers. This will allow a pipe fitter who's going to a job in another province to claim all the costs that are needed for him to go and do that job. And more importantly, that will bring down their taxable income and bring down their tax bill. so that they bring home more of each dollar they earn. At the same time, we will get rid of the tax subsidy for luxurious corporate jets. As Prime Minister, I will amend the Income Tax Act so that corporations cannot write off luxury jets. Rather, each flight will only be eligible for a write-off of the equivalent of a commercial airfare. This, of course, will not apply to charter flights that are designed to get workers into remote areas. You see some of these planes back here. I would not be surprised if they are used. There are some mines and other locations where we need to get our trades workers. They get on these planes, and that will continue to be an eligible expense to write off so that our people can get where they need to get to build what we need built. Now, we can ensure that Conservatives will always put Canadian workers first for a change. And we know that this is important now and more important than ever, because for the first time in Canadian history, the people who build our homes cannot afford to live in them. More money is spent for a new home on bureaucrats in government who block the home than on the carpenters, electricians, and plumbers who build it. Our workers have been under assault by the Liberal government C-69, which blocks pipelines, mines, and other key projects. The energy cap, which will stop Alberta and Saskatchewan and Newfoundland from growing their oil and gas sector. The anti-nuclear agenda of Stephen Guilbeault, still a Liberal minister, trying to block power stations and small modular nuclear reactors. It takes 17 years to get a mine approved in Canada. Meanwhile, a small corporate elite takes Canadian money out of our country into other places. $500 billion of net investment has flown to the United States, more than has come back. Of course, no one is a greater example of selling out Canada to fill his pockets than Mark Carney himself. He moved his headquarters from Canada to New York City just 6 days after Trump first promised tariffs. He supported a carbon tax in Canada while profiting off U.S. coal. He testified in a parliamentary committee against the Northern Gateway pipeline, all while his company invests in pipelines in the Middle East. And of course, he jets around in private comfort, luxurious planes, all while his company breaks unions, had 41 infractions against labor rules, according to the U.S. Labor Bureau, denied coal miners their insurance benefits as they were dying of black lung. And of course, we all know that if he is given a chance, he will continue these anti-worker globalist policies. And don't forget that replacing Justin Trudeau with his economic advisor and hand-picked successor will only mean giving Liberals a 4th term in power. It will be the same Liberal ministers, the same Liberal MPs, the same Liberal strategists, and the same Liberal promises they've been breaking for the last 10 years. Only difference is that now we will have an even weaker and more conflicted and compromised leader in Mark Carney. The last 10 years were about the Liberals. The next 10 years need to be about you. And that's why we need to put Canada first for a change. We need someone who can be trusted to stand by his word. On this point as well, Mark Carney cannot be trusted. We learned that he'll be saying all kinds of things over the next month to try and trick Canadians. But this is a man who says whatever he has to. We just learned yesterday that he plagiarized to get his way through university. The National Post, the London Telegraph, and the Times of London all reported at least 10 instances of plagiarism in his PhD thesis. He cheated to get his credentials, and now he will say whatever he has to get power. My vision is to stand up for the same things I've been saying for 10 years and doing the 10 years before that. Conservatives have not changed the direction one iota. We've always been for axing the industrial carbon tax and all of the carbon tax for everyone, everywhere, for good, for a change. We've always opposed the anti-energy laws because we want to unleash Canada's production here at home. We have always said we want to approve LNG plants to ship our prodigious energy overseas and bring home hundreds of billions of dollars that does not rely on the U.S. We've always said we wanted to cut income tax, and we have restated that in our platform with a plan to cut income tax by 15% for the average worker in Canada. We always said we want to get taxes out of the way to build homes our youth can afford, and so we reiterate we will axe the GST on new homes to save people up to $65,000 on the cost of a home. We've always said we want to stand up for safety in our communities. We will repeal the catch-and-release hug-a-thug liberal laws that have unleashed crime on the streets of Winnipeg. We will lock up repeat offenders. And in the case of serious violent offenders, fentanyl dealers, human traffickers, gun smugglers, they will get life sentences. They will only come out in a box. We will rebuild our borders and secure our military future with solid funds and a solid recruitment for the brilliant young men and women who protect all of us. In other words, we will put Canada and Canadian workers first for a change by restoring Canada's promise, a promise that anyone from anywhere can do anything, where hard work gets you a great life on a safe street, in a beautiful house, under our proud flag, Canada first. Let's bring it home. Thank you.